So clearly the international community is not yet prepared to work with the Taliban, at least the Western countries of the United States and European Union. At the same time, there is a serious effort to hold the catastrophic humanitarian situation that is slipping into a real catastrophe in the winter, in which hundreds of thousands of people could be dying of hunger, situation similar to the Tigray region of Ethiopia. And so what the European Union did today was to announce to work around the Taliban regime, channeling humanitarian aid to international organizations operating in Afghanistan to dispense it to the Afghan people.
You've got the humanitarian and financial aid seems to be one of the, if not the only lever that the West has over the Taliban. Is there any way that they can attach conditions to this?
Well, attaching conditions to the humanitarian aid is difficult, and in fact, it could easily be counterproductive. There are other forms of economic aid where conditions are being attached. The Afghan federal bank's reserves are being frozen in the United States. There are other international money flows that have supported the Afghan government, 75% of the operating budget of the Afghan government that are being held abroad. And they are being held linked to conditions of human rights, women's rights, political pluralism. But in the sort of beyond the most immediate humanitarian issue, there is some hard realities. Namely, that if the only aid that's sent is essentially for food, shelter, and medicine, which is the current aid dispensation, and the economy remains in ruin, no other liquidity, no other legal liquidity is coming in, then we'll simply be lurching from one humanitarian peak of a crisis to another. And so that there will be deeper reckoning about how long conditionality and in what form will remain attached to other forms of economic aid.
Briefly, because I'm afraid time's always against us, how do you see the current situation panning out? It doesn't look good, does it?
Oh, the situation is enormously difficult. The humanitarian crisis is awful and becoming worse day by the day. And the Taliban regime is so far ruling in very authoritarian manner, clearly geared toward preserving internal cohesion as opposed to any accommodation to the international community.